amazed, that I got to a World Cup at 35, and I suppose I started to really, in the month or two beforehand, I really wanted to enjoy every bit of it and to have as much positive memories as I could, and to try and I suppose most importantly, to try and have a big input on the team. I was lucky with injuries as well, and by that I mean I didn't get blisters and I didn't get twisted ankles that knock you out for a couple of days. A lot of lads did, but I had a right clear run for the first time in my life, I think, When we walked to the stadium before the game and we came out onto the pitch, our fans were there in huge numbers, and the reception we got, and you could see the young lads, they knew then, I think, from that moment that this is what the World Cup was about. And I felt that was the most defining moment of the whole day, really.
Neto against Staunton. Neto still looking for Mboma. Mboma! Cameroon hit the front.
We did feel that we were in the game, and that rather than being worried about being more goals down, we were saying, look, we can take this thing. We haven't played anywhere near our best. Let's get out there and have no regrets. I think that was the big shout at half-time. Let's not walk out in the first round. I mean, France did too, and people thought they were potential champions as well. So I don't think we could play down Cameroon's ability purely because we got the better of them, even though we drew, if you know what I mean. They were expected to beat us. They didn't. That gave everybody, I think, the belief then was really starting to kick in.
Germany against Ireland, the 3 times winners against the 3 times finalists. Fasten your seatbelts, the roller coaster's ready to rock.
Germany were big favourites of that group, despite what happened to them against England in the qualifiers. This would be the worst time to play them. And of course, having seen them win their first game 8-0, I think that proved, what was on their minds. So it was going to be a hard task, but our spirit was just building, and the belief was there, and it was a great night. It worked out great for us.
Niall Quinn is coming on.
They were so sort of preoccupied with trying to hold back Robbie and Damien, their defence had put an awful lot into that. When I came on, it gave an option that the German guys probably weren't expecting, and so they'd spent this whole game trying to keep things from going down the channel, trying to be strong and overpowering these smaller guys, and then suddenly I was coming in fit and as a fiddle for the first time in a long time, feeling really sharp. Probably 18 inches taller than anyone they played against in the competition, and so for nuisance value, I made a little bit of an impression. But as it happens, it was Robbie's finish, which was sublime. I mean, he had to read what I was doing.
And here's Robbie Keane. Yes, that is no more than Ireland deserve.
It's not something you can spend a lot of time talking about and practicing. It's just a little bit of intuition, and that's a poacher, if you like, and that's probably why the goal happened, and so we felt great with ourselves. It was a lovely moment. They'll say, well, we were unlucky, we were only a minute from holding on, and that Ireland got a lucky draw, but we'd say it was justice because we threw everything at them, and we got the break.
Niall Quinn, a great take from Robbie Keane. Ramelow misses.
Nick would obviously stay in touch with people throughout the year, trying to work out his team, who were coming and who was playing well and who wasn't. And I started to play a lot of games here at Sunderland. I was probably overused. I think Peter's even gone on record to say that. And I was finding it all a bit hard, and I was just wondering whether I was going to be good enough for him. And we had this conversation, and he said, look, don't worry about now. I'm not going to play in the games in February, March, April. He said, you get yourself right at the end of the season. Do what you have to do for Sunderland, but then just concentrate on giving me whatever you have. It could be one corner, it could be one cross, it could be one flick on. And it was just so prophetic, because it was amazing. I think he even said you could be knocking one down to Robbie and get us, I think he said, a win. I think that was the only bit he got wrong. It got us a big draw.
Well, put Ireland into the second round.
Well, it's just a case of getting anything close to the box. Brilliant from Niall Quinn. A great take from Robbie Keane. Ramelow misses it. And even though Karen got a touch this time, thankfully it went on off the post.
I'd be very proud that Germany didn't beat us, and that going into the final, Robbie Keane was the only player to have scored against Can, probably the world's top keeper at the moment.
And a will to carry on.
I think it's no great shame to think that we held the second best team in the world anyway.
It's for Gary Kelly. What a great ball. Kelly's cross. Robbie Keane, there you are, number 1. 6 minutes on the clock. We're on the way. Well, that was a fair effort by Catron.
Within sort of 10 minutes of scoring the goal, they were starting to dominate the game, and that was very alarming and very disturbing, because it had shades of Macedonia written all over it. For anyone who can't remember that, that was when we threw qualification away for the European Championship, and we were starting to get very anxious. It felt to get better a little bit into the second half. I think 5 or 10 minutes in the second half we were confident then it was going to happen, and the guys came up with the goods. Breeny came up with a spectacular finish for a centre half anyway, and it was like the pressure was off now. Let's go and enjoy the rest of the game.
And Gary Breen makes a little bit of history. It's the first time Ireland have scored 2 goals in a World Cup finals match, and that's a lot more like it. Robbie Keane made a present of it.
Damien was just absolutely outstanding out on the wing. I mean, he tore lumps out of the well, 1 or 2. I was going to say B fullback, but there was so many trying to stop him. It was literally the whole team. He was just absolutely rampaging them, and was probably very fitting that he got his goal.
Holland, Duff's gone on the run. Here's Duff. Oh, there's 3. Thanks to the goalkeeper. Thanks to Damien Duff. Ireland are through now.
There's something about Damien, he's very, very special. I think the whole of Ireland realises that now, and he just takes things in his stride so well. I mean, Damien could be a student for all you know, and just turns up the odd time for the game and then goes back to his student life. You know, he's a quality lad. He's never ever lost where he is in life or what he's about, and he never will.
The goalkeeper, that was a real shocker.
When Damien had scored, I just thought, I'm not going to waste any more energy chasing these young fellas around, and I made my own way back to the halfway line, and when it all settled down I then went over to him and said well done, so I got a little bit clever in the end.
See that completed because Anderson, we're about to see Ireland perform in the last 16 of the World Cup.
Spain would be looking at it, and despite what signals they were giving out from the training ground, we knew that they wouldn't fancy our spirit if we got going, and if we got that big crowd behind us, and we attack teams the way we can, and it took a little while. I mean, Spain were very, very good, it has to be said, early on in the game. They knocked the ball, they stroked it around well, and they were probably in control, even though we were trying our best to get our game going, but the goal came early enough.
Well, once again, Fuentes! Disaster strikes. 7 minutes. It's Luis Enrique.
There's 2 ways of reacting then. You know, do you sort of fold and say, oh, these are too good for us, or do you get going and give it everything? And the reaction of the lads was just to give it everything, and I think Spain were offside a lot, which made it look as if they had a lot of possession, but they kept getting guys caught offside, and we don't even play the offside, we don't even try and play, so they were out of balance a little bit, they were out of sync, and we were getting at them, and you know, it got pretty hectic near the end there, but you know, Ian had his penalty, unfortunately. The keeper saved it. It was, you know, one of those things.
He didn't make it.
You know, everybody's probably deflated, and you think, come on, it'll still happen to some of the younger lads. And then thankfully, Herrero tried to take my shirt off, and we got a chance near the end. I've had about 3 penalties in about 1,000 incidents like that in my career. You know, sometimes you get the odd little pull in the back, and the referee doesn't give them, but that one he did. Fair play to him. He was very strong, and so it gave us a lifeline.
If you dare.
We had probably another a lifeline in as much that just before the kickoff of extra time, one of their players who had just come on as sub couldn't come back on the pitch, so we knew, certainly a good few of us on the pitch knew that they were down to 10 men and that he was they were going to try and get him back on, so we thought he'd be coming back at any stage. So, but just regardless of it, Mick's big thing was, right, we're going to go and try and win this game.
Retrieve it again.
And it just couldn't get that last little break, you know. We won a lot of possession. To say they were backs to the wall is an understatement. We were all over them and just couldn't get that little ball to break half a yard the right way. I just think we were a little bit unlucky, you know, that we didn't win the game before the penalties. Looking back, for me, I can take great pleasure out of the fact that this team is ready to go on now and do even better. And I think that was the one message that this team gave out, even after the Spanish game. You know, that was the one feeling you got, that these guys were in that dressing room not amazed with themselves that they'd done so well, gutted that they hadn't done better, and these were young lads who didn't know what a World Cup was about some weeks earlier, and so I take great pleasure in seeing that and being part of all that. That was to me a real highlight.